Today we'll be working on the following problem. Let mu be a Lebesgue measure on R1. First question is, giving any epsilon between 0 and 1, does there exist a closed subset E of unit interval 0, 1? E consists of irrational numbers only, and the measure is greater than epsilon. Second one is, does there exist a closed subset of irrational number only, and E is the subset of 0 and 1, and the measure is 1. Pause the video if you want to think about it. Okay, let's work on this. For the first one, the answer is yes. Let's construct this such set because E has the rational number only, so we know E has to be uh, the set excluding all the rational numbers, and E has to be uh, closed. So let's find out this closed set by using the following construction. So we know all the irrational numbers is countable. So we can have a list all of them. And then for each q sub n, let's do a open interval around this with radius delta n, delta sub n, and then delta sub n is to be determined later. So let's calculate the Lebesgue measure of all the union of this q sub n with this open interval, right? So basically, we want to define U to be the union of all of this open interval, q sub n minus delta n to q sub n plus delta n, and n from 1 to infinity. Clearly, this U is open because it's the union of open intervals. So let's measure this mu. Mu of U is mu of this union of open intervals. And then by using the additivity of the Lebesgue measure, and this is less or equal than the Lebesgue measure of this interval, right? Which is, and we know this is 2 dot sub n. So, but we want this to be convergent, right? Because the total is we are constrained with the unit interval. So let's pick, if we pick this dot sub n equals to, we want to find a convergent. So the easy pick is something like delta, and the delta to be determined later. So this, if we define the delta sub n is delta divided by 2 sub n, and then this is uh, uh, delta 2n minus 1, right? So the total is what? This is the series convergent to delta, right? So now this E, if we define E to be the set minus this U from the interval, because U is open, so E is clearly closed. And then we have removed all the rational numbers, so E consists of irrational numbers only. And then this mu of E is greater than 1 minus delta, right? Greater or equal than 1 minus delta. Because, because then we can pick, we want this one to be greater than epsilon. So we pick delta is um, less than 1 minus epsilon. To summary, like, so if we pick delta less than 1 minus epsilon, then this E we constructed consists of all irrational numbers only, and the measure is greater than epsilon. So for the second one, can E have the total measure 1? So the answer is no. Why? Because E, let's suppose there exists such E. E is closed, and then E has only irrational number. That means E is not uh, the whole 0, 1. So there exists some delta, some Q, irrational numbers. That Q is not in E, right? Because E it's all irrational numbers. Q is not in E, but E is closed. So there exists a open interval around Q, right? So let's see, like Q minus some delta and Q plus some delta is also in this one is contained in the complement of E, right? So this measure of E is at most 1 minus 2 delta. Here delta is greater than 0, so it's strictly less than 1. So such E does not exist.